Perfect. Perfect.
What's happening, y'all, man? How y'all doing? Welcome to a late night edition of Swag Talk, man. I'm not used to being live on Swag Talk. I'm used to doing Swag Smoke live, but this is Swag Talk coming at you live on the first day of the early signing period, man. It's a 3 day 3 day period. But most teams are active on the Wednesday. So we're gonna kind of just look at some of the classes being brought in by everybody, and I'm gonna and probably toward the end, I'm gonna share my thoughts on my preference for handling early signing day, and we just go from now. Anything else? I mean, y'all can hop in the comments and comment on any class or any player or whatever. But we're gonna try to keep this to early signing day. Anything else? Anything with Coach McNair and TSU and Alcorn and all of that. We're gonna probably address that on Swag Smoke tomorrow. But if it come up, I'm gonna answer the comments. So first and foremost, man, of course, I'm your tour guide around the SWAC West coming at you, and we're gonna start this thing off with the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. We're gonna make our way through. Yeah, it's been a day, man. It's been a day, and I'm gonna talk about it a little bit. But we'll get there. Well, what's going on, Big Soldier, man? What's happening with you?
What's up? What's up, baby? What's good, y'all? It's my favorite time of the year. Signing day.
Hey, it's usually mine, man, but it's been rough. So we gonna get into it. But I guess, man, since we got you here, have you had a chance to look at the JSU class?
Yeah, man. They put together a nice class, man. A lot of old linemen and a lot of defensive backs. And I think they added a few linebackers too, which we definitely needed. I mean, I like what they did.
So is there anybody that kind of stand out to you right now?
I like the kid from I like the kid from Brandon, man. Night Train Blunt. Whoo! I love that kid, man. I've been keeping my eyes on him for the last couple of years, and man, I thought he was going to Mississippi State or maybe like a USM or something like that, and we end up getting him, man. I think that's a big time pickup.
Oh yeah, hey, when they call you Night Train, hey, you already know, you already know that's the truth. So,
yeah.
man,
Then I like another kid, Marcus Dupree. His I think his nephew, man. We got him too.
What position he play?
He played a little wide out, and I think he played both sides too. But he's a nice little wide out pickup too. So, but I like it, man. I like what we doing though.
Yeah, I've been kind of keeping tabs on on JSU. We're gonna talk about FAMU when we get there. Alcorn been doing work.
Mm-hmm.
Those three teams really been hitting this early signing period hard, man. And I think that's to me that's vital. I believe in being aggressive on the early signing period, but some people don't. But let's I'm gonna kind of make my way through some of these classes, and we can kind of talk about a little bit, if thoughts or whatever, what you think that team might need. So we're gonna start off with Alabama A&M. Mm-hmm. They went defense heavy. They didn't sign a lot of guys, but they went heavy on defense. They brought in defensive end, a couple cornerbacks. Let's see, 2 defensive ends, a cornerback, 2 offensive linemen, a wide receiver, and a quarterback. So they really, you can tell where they were looking, especially on defense. They losing a couple guys on the D line. So they're trying to fill that spot, and they're losing a couple guys out the secondary. So they filling holes, and then quarterback is definitely something that they're gonna have to look at. Quincy Casey going in the portal. So they need a guy. So I thought they did a pretty solid job with their class. Not a lot of guys, but they addressed some of their needs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It ain't like they say it ain't sexy, but I think it hits a lot of the needs that they definitely were looking to hit. I like they got a couple edge rushers and things. So, but yeah, I think he did a pretty good job for the most part. They might be looking to hit a little bit harder in that February signing class. So we'll see.
Yeah, and that's something to definitely kind of keep reminding. This is not over. Just because it's the early period, don't mean that that's it. You can always still bring in guys in February, and of course you can still attack the portal. So there's still a lot of opportunity to fill some spots. But I thought they did a good job of addressing what they need. And because to me, I rather fill needs first and then get those guys. Because to me, I think that's easier way to do it. I was trying to find Bama State class, but I can't. I know they brought in a couple guys, but I can't find their class right now. So once we ever get back to that, I'll bring them back around. I just got hit up by Coach Wyatt from Valley. Man, them boy. Hey, I hate to jump teams, but man, Valley, another team doing work. They picked up Harold Blood, man. So I shout out to Valley.
Yeah, that's an
I
upgrade
think,
at quarterback. I like it.
and I think that's a good. I think that's a good fit for him, man. All jokes and everything aside, I think the kid need a fresh start. This just was, this wasn't the right fit for him. Although he still threw the ball for over almost 2,000 yards this season, as bad as the offense played, as inconsistent as the offense played, he still threw the ball for almost 2,000 yards. He had a couple really rough games and need to cut down on the interceptions and taking the sacks. But he got a whole season experience on his belt, and going to Valley, maybe that can help. But Valley been really aggressive too, man. I'm gonna see if I can pull up their guys. And we'll see. We kind of talk about what Coach Wade doing because they've been getting busy, bro. I don't know if it's gonna translate to wins and losses, but they've been getting busy.
Yeah, I like what Valley taking that heed of addressing the quarterback situation because I like the kid from last season, but I think he got thrown into the fire a little bit too quick, in my opinion. So I mean, picking up a guy like Blood is a definite good thing. And also, I seen they picked up a couple. One athlete out of Vicksburg. He looked pretty nice too. Could be a possible wide out or running back. I like that pick as well. I can't forget the kid name, man. But Vicksburg been definitely putting out some good talent lately, man. Because they team been pretty good too.
Yeah, I saw they picked up a guy from out of Vicksburg, and you get them guys from them talent rich areas, man. Guys who coming from places like you said that got good programs. That's something that can really help you. Looking at some of the guys that Valley brought in. I'm gonna kind of run through the names of these guys. You have Bernard Jones, who's a defensive back. Also, they brought in. Let's see. I'm kind of making my way through these because they got the fonts kind of small, so I don't know. I might not really mess with the names too much, but they. I don't got my glasses tonight. It's late, but I think they they look like they're going pretty heavy with linebacker. They got a couple linebackers in here, wide receiver, in the class. They got a couple look like 3 defensive backs so far. 2 or 3 wide receivers, like you said. They got a couple athlete type guys. they, I think they did a pretty solid job, man. They got a lot of guys out of Dallas too, a couple guys out of Dallas too. So they've been all over, man. They've been hitting the road and recruiting hard. They brought in, some beef for the O line, but they look like they really went hard with defensive back. Um, I think that's really a spot that they went hard in, and
Yeah, because they had a lot of guys look like a lot of guys that hit the portal too. So I think a lot of the guys that they trying to get to replace, they doing a pretty decent job of doing that.
yeah, and I like I said, I think they trying to lay that foundation. Last season was kind of, kind of a rough time for them. They was up and down, more down than up. But I think they working hard to get where they need to get, and they get in guys. When you look at, because they got some of the accolades on some of these guys, they get in guys who got talent. They getting guys who have done things. So they're not just grabbing guys to grab guys. They grabbing guys who have been successful, and they're trying to make some things happen. And yeah, I think a quarterback competition is definitely going to be in the works at Valley. But Tyrone Williams, I think he's a big kid. You could probably find another spot for him, if he doesn't win the job. But I think bringing in a guy who does, regardless of how you feel about how Harold Blood played last season, he has experience, and I like to quote movies and the quote Loki in Endgame. I consider experience. Well, I mean that's Infinity War. I consider experience, and he has experience. So that doesn't hurt. The man been through a lot. So if he can shake back, I think that's gonna make it good for him. But they need playmakers, and I think they got them a few. They need some beef on the O line. They're losing Rodney Luckett on the O line, who was one of the best O linemen they had. So they're trying to fill some holes, and I like what they're doing.
Yep, me too. But I like the kid for Valley, that true freshman. I think he just need, so maybe somebody like Blood can come in and kind of help mentor him and get him ready for probably the next season, because I think with a little coaching, I think he has potential because he's not scared, man.
Oh no, he's not scared at all.
Too.
And I kind of feel like they played him when they really wasn't ready to play him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they kind of played him ahead of schedule a little bit. So getting him to kind of have somebody who is an older guy and a guy that's been through a lot. I think a guy like that can kind of help get him right. So I think that's definitely a good move for them, and I like what they've been doing.
Yeah, me too.
Now another. Oh, if you want to go ahead, you could. If you had anything you want to.
Oh, that's it on Valley. It's I'm kind of gonna pay more attention to what they bring in this February. They probably gonna be bringing a lot of guys out that portal, because I see it's a lot of talent that's in the portal. But you know how it is with that portal. Got to make sure all their grades and stuff clear.
Oh yeah, that's most definitely. And this is a very active portal this season. A lot of guys in there, so you really got you really got a lot of opportunity to pick up guys. So you, even if you don't sign guys now, you got a lot of chances to get guys. Alcorn, man. Let's talk Braves, man. They've been busy too. The last week or so, Alcorn really was heavy with official visitors, and they picked up quite a few commitments in the last week or so, and being able to get them guys to sign on the dotted line, man. I think that's huge.
Yeah. I see they brought in a lot of linebacker talent too. Man, I seen like about 4 or 5 linebackers. So I wonder, did they lose a lot of linebackers this past season? And I know on the defensive line, man, they did a good job bringing in a lot of guys that's gonna help that D line. It still looks like it's gonna be a pretty nasty pass rush. I think they was working on their defense a lot. Seemed like this early signing period, you know.
Yeah, I think, and especially having a coach like Coach Cedric Thomas, who I think most people think that's the right move to make. And like I said, we'll talk about that more tomorrow. Um, but having a defensive minded coach, I think he knows his guys, he know what he needs. And like you said, they went hard on linebackers. You still got guys there like Malachi Bailey on that D line, gonna still help them out so much. Um, they really like you said, they really went heavy on defense. They got a couple skill guys, got them a quarterback in the mix. I think that I think they looking to kind of continue to build, and yeah, like the comment said, getting a guy like Malachi Bailey back is huge. You get that guy back, that solidifies so much with your defense, because that dude is a disruptor, and he can be a SWAC player of the year candidate if he continue the pace that he's on. So I think Alcorn really wasn't that far off. I mean, they only lost, they lost one game. Really, the TSU game really cost them. But I think that they didn't have to do a lot, but I think they did well with what they did.
Yeah, me too. I mean, because that's why I was just sitting there kind of. I looked at Alcorn's schedule before we came on, and I'm like, that was a good 7-4 record, and then the only loss was that major loss was TSU. But if just think about if Alcorn would have won them 2 games, they would have been undefeated in the conference. Would they be ready to fire Fred then?
And I think like I said, they were right there, and I think being able to keep the ship going the way it is, I think that's a huge thing. This comment we got on the screen here, I'm gonna jump back on this later. Once we get to Southern, I'll jump on that comment because I got some things to say about that. But I think they lost one game by 3 points, and they lost the TSU game in a blowout. But they really still had the opportunity to go to the SWAC championship game, and I think they know the direction they need to go, and I think they're gonna continue to work to get there. And they, like I said, I don't think they're that far off. So being able to keep the continuity and keep that defense on par is huge, because one thing I know about SWAC football is just the offense drives the car, and a lot of people offenses wasn't that great this year, but if you have a really good defense, that's gonna carry you a long way. I watched the defense carry a team that should have won 3 games to win 6. So defensively, I think that's a nice thing. So we're gonna continue to see what Alcorn do. I know they're not done. They're gonna probably get a couple more portal guys and maybe a couple guys in February. So we're definitely gonna keep an eye on them. Let's talk Bethune-Cookman, bro. They did pretty decent too. They got they went out and got them a quarterback, which they need a quarterback. They really came up short at that position. Played like 4 guys at quarterback this season. So being able to bring in a quarterback, kid 6'3", 190. He's gonna continue to you in college. He's gonna get a little bit bigger, but he got a nice height on him. He's from out of New York. They addressed the offensive line. Let's see, I see 2 offensive linemen so far, a linebacker, defensive line. 3, that makes 3 old linemen, DB. They basically went pretty offensive line heavy, which I think they needed help on the O line. They brought in a defensive lineman, and their defense was really underrated this season. I know a lot of people look at their record, but they defense was not that bad last year.
Nope. Yeah, they gave a lot of people a lot of headache in the SWAC. So I'm not surprised. Hey, you got to give it up to Woody, man. Woody was a great recruiter while he was at FAU and places like that, man. Shoot, so hey, he might can find some hidden gems somewhere. So I'm gonna be on the watch out. Definitely in Bethune. Definitely what he do in the portal, because I think he made to pull a couple good kids out that portal, man, and he plug them in. Man, Bethune might be a a sleeping giant. I don't know if it be this year, but I get them. I get them like a couple years, man. I think they're gonna be competitive.
Yeah, I think this season was a good. It started off really rough, but they defense kind of got back right, and the offense had their ups and downs, but they had some talent, but they didn't have the consistency. Coach Wood is a defensive guy first, so that's always going to be his mindset. If they just can get that offense to come around, I think they're gonna be in the mix at least to finish higher than they have. And like you said, they, maybe not next year, but this upcoming season, but maybe the year after will probably be the year that you can kind of point to them if they continue to grow, that they can get to that point. But I think they did a solid job bringing in some guys. They left themselves some room for a lot of movement. This is the first year, with him coming in late last year, they didn't even have this. So this is his first time to be able to have a full recruiting cycle, and I think that's very important for this team.
Yep, I agree.
Next we're gonna talk about FAMU, man, and you talk about a team that's been busy, man. They have signed. They got they've been doing what they do. They got I do like the quarterback that they brought in. He played at FAU. He was the backup, but he ended up starting like mid-season because the starting quarterback got hurt. He was out for the year, so he put up some pretty decent numbers in a couple games. But they've been they got a receiver from Vandy. And they hit the O line, but they got a tight end from Clemson who I'm eager to see him play. He played a lot of snaps at Clemson, didn't really get any stats. He missed most of this season with an injury. He coming off ACL, so I'm kind of interested to see if he can come in and contribute. But I think this gonna be I think this team don't need a lot. So I think they did a good job of filling some of those holes that they got.
Yeah, they did a really good job. Brought in a lot of transfer guys. Seen one guy from UCF, and I think they brought another one. Seemed like from UAB for doing. I think a couple skill guys. So they did. Hey fam, you gonna do their thing.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think they got a lot of holes to fill. So they definitely addressed probably the biggest hole that they got is probably quarterback. So you bring in a guy who started on the FBS level. I think that helps a lot. Whether he can continue that is the key. But they with Coach Simmons, they gonna be in the mix, and they have a formula for what they do, and they stick with that. So I think that having that makes it really easy to build your team because you don't have to constantly look for new things. You know what you want and you know what you're looking for. So I think that they did a pretty solid job with that.
Too. They did a good job bringing in a lot of some JUCO guys too, because one of them defensive linemen, man, they snagged up that guy pretty good, man. They snuck down in Mississippi, got a couple balls. I don't know how they did it, but they did.
And
that guy got that is a nasty pass rush on that D line. So they did a good job, man. Kind of sneaking in and grabbing some talent out the JUCO.
And being able to keep that D line solid, it is always a big thing. You still got some playmakers on that D line, and being able to add a couple more guys to that, I think that's gonna make continue to make that dark cloud defense make them pretty dangerous. So coming off a Celebration Bowl win, you got all the momentum, and I think they're gonna find they're gonna be able to fill whatever holes that they need. Looking at Grambling, I'm trying to see if I can find anything on them. But the biggest news coming from Grambling is what they losing in the portal. They already had Floyd Chalk go in the portal, and now Chance Williams, the other talented running back they got, he went in the portal this evening. So that's those two big losses right there at the running back spot, which was a definitely a key position on their offense last season. I'd be interested to see if they can maybe talk them guys into coming back, which I don't know. But losing both of those guys really hurts.
Yeah, they do. But they look like they replaced maybe one with a guy from Mississippi State, a former 3-star man that's coming in. Supposed to be really good. But I mean, I don't know if he's gonna be able to replace a guy like Chance or Chalk, man, because them dudes be playmakers. But if I make them, I'll be pleading on the phone. Come on back, please, baby. Come on back.
Yeah. Well, from the looks of it, look like Floyd Chalk is gone. So
yeah, I think Chance Williams can be FBS too.
Oh, he could, man. He could have been an FBS kid coming out of high school, man. And again, that's a kid that I had the privilege to watch play football basically his whole high school career. So he was a guy who was highly recruited. But Grambling made him a priority. So you can't pass that up. But having that opportunity for that second chance, he did put up good numbers last season. It might be tough to make that happen again. So I think they may have to kind of dip in the portal to pull some other guys, but they got a couple young guys on their roster too who can probably make some things happen too.
Yep, because the running back from Scotlandville, ain't it? He's still on the team, right?
No, that was Williams.
But they had a nice little.
That was Chance Williams.
I know they had a nice freshman receiver that was really good.
Yeah, like I said, they still got some young guys that's out there. It's gonna be interesting to see, because they still gotta put their staff together. I heard that they OC supposed to be Dooley, so
I know my dog wasn't gonna be down long, man. Shoot,
I can't
even for something for them suits.
I can't even finish that statement, man. So I'm gonna leave it alone. But
I figured, man, that Dooley wasn't gonna be out of a job long. I mean, he might be better as an offensive assistant, rather than trying to run the whole show. But
yeah, sometimes you need
what he'll do. Hopefully he'll be open to some more things, because hopefully if he tag Grambling up, he sure enough ain't gonna be back in the
if that's it. If he if he can't get this right, that's it. Let's talk about your boy Bubba, man.
Mm-hmm.
SWAC West champs. They seem like they kind of got a few guys today. Another class that's not really big. They got a couple guys from out of Mississippi, so that helps.
Yeah,
they got a guy from Macomb and a guy from Woodville. Now, if Coach,
why they get that connection from Woodville? But
I can tell you that Mark Frederick, their offensive coordinator, he's from Woodville.
Oh, he was okay.
So and they both went to Southwest Mississippi, so they kind of.
It's a lot of talent in Southwest Mississippi that people really don't tap into because they had to go to JUCO.
Yeah,
but it's really some hidden gems in Southwest Mississippi. I wish the SWAC would in other places would kind of tap in, because it's some talent. It's Southwest Mississippi and around that Macomb, Tylertown, Columbia area, Taylorsville. Man, it's some dogs out there, bro. Bassfield.
Yeah. They actually got three kids from Southwest Mississippi Community College.
Yeah.
So they hit that school hard.
They
two of them
talent out there Southwest. They really do.
It's plenty of talent in Mississippi JUCO. So they kind of stacked up some skilled guys. Got a receiver, got a running back. They got a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We got two running backs actually. Yeah, they got a quarterback, got 2 running backs, couple offensive linemen. They went offense heavy in this class in this period. Only one defensive guy in this group of guys that they signed. So they went pretty heavy with offense because I think they need more help on defense, but maybe they'll get that down the line. So you can't pass up skill guys if they out there. I mean, of course, skill guys on our level can kind of be, I don't want to say a dime a dozen, but you can get skill guys on this level. But if you got a guy that won't in, you don't turn him down.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you saying that they need a little bit more help on that defensive side of the ball. But I know one thing, McDowell will get the running backs.
Oh yeah, they gonna keep running back. and they still got 2 or 3 guys from last season who coming back. So they gonna be the backfield is gonna be able to do its job. They gonna be stacked with guys like the quarterback is definitely a vital piece. To try to get some competition in that room and kind of open up that offense a little bit. But let's I guess we can go ahead and talk Southern, man. And I got a couple of things I want to say about this. Southern didn't really do a lot. I don't think they're gonna sign a big class. They did sign a running back from out of John Curtis, who that if you know Louisiana football, then you know John Curtis is a major school in the New Orleans area, and they are a team that run the football. They barely throw the ball. So you getting a guy. His name is Jason Gabriel. He's a running back. So that's the only guy so far that I know of that Southern brought in. And the backfield, there are some carries to be had back there. You're losing Garrett Qualls, but you're getting Kendrick Grimes back. You still got a couple other guys who got some carries last season, so the backfield should be solid. If you're Southern, you still got to address that offensive line. That offensive line was not good this season. And one big thing for Southern, I'll say, is they were able to get Kelby Givens from out of the portal. He had went in the portal earlier this month. They were able to convince him to come back for his junior year. The kid's gonna be a first team all conference guy. He had great numbers this season as a first time full time starter. So being able to get that kid back solidifies a nice spot in your D line. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do, because I think they still gotta address some coaching moves. I don't know if they're keeping the whole staff or what. But they're gonna probably bring in a bigger class, like to come and say a bigger class in February. But I thought that maybe you go for a couple splashes. I mean, you can't make people come to your school. But I didn't. If I had to have one gripe about the day for Southern, is I just didn't like the lack of anything coming out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sign one kid who can definitely help you, but you didn't even really promote that. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't like the lack of social media presence that Southern have sometimes. It's not all the time, but they're really sporadic with that kind of stuff. And to me, that was more of an issue than anything. Yeah, last year was like that. Last year they rolled out the class at like 9:00 at night. So I just don't like that kind of stuff. But that's a personal preference. That's you might not care about that. I care about things that a lot of people don't care about. I care about little things that a lot of people may not see as an issue. I can make a small thing out of. I can make a small thing into an issue. So don't ever go by what I say all the time as a gripe. But I just didn't really like that, and that been sitting on me all day.
What
Because
about the Southern have like a signing day party? Like I know TC did it last year. You talk about, hey, that's what the thing I like about signing day, because the food is going to be good.
now I know I don't know if they did one last year, but usually in February they do like a little recruiting bash where you go and they run through the class and like you say they have a nice little dinner.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure they did it last year, but I went a couple years ago. Typically they do one in February, so I'm sure they will. Especially with having a new coach. Um, you need to have that opportunity for him to get out there and kind of make his presence known. And to me that was my biggest issue with Southern today was I just think you needed something to get the people energized. I mean, even if it's not a new guy promoting the fact that you got your best defensive lineman to come back out the portal, I think that's huge. And I think they needed to speak on that and not saying anything about that. I think that's a missed opportunity, and I think that's ass backwards. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't like the way they operate with a lot of things, and that's gonna always be my gripe because that's not gonna change. But I I don't have a problem with the. It's too early to really have any kind of issue with the way that the recruiting is going, so I'm not gonna really touch on that too much. I'm gonna give it time, but I think with the fan base is divided. Let's just put it that way. You got people who want Graves, you got people who don't want him. I think you needed to get something out there to kind of galvanize the people, and even if it's temporary, get some excitement, man. Because there's no, unless you a Graves guy, there's no excitement right now for Southern football. So I think you need to find some kind of way to make something happen now. But I'm gonna hop off my soapbox and and we're gonna talk TSU real quick. They signed two guys today, which I was surprised. I didn't know what they would do with this whole situation, and I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about that. I think we could talk about that tomorrow. But being able to sign two guys, I think was a pretty decent move for them today. But like I said, we'll talk more about TSU tomorrow because maybe they have a coach tomorrow, maybe they don't. But I want to say that for tomorrow. But like I said, they signed a couple guys today, an offensive lineman and a wide receiver. Um, they got some holes to fill regardless of who the head coach is. You got to replace Ladarius Owens. That's a big hole. I think you need to work on getting that fixed, but you need a head guy first before you can do any of that. So I think that whatever they do, whenever they do it, I that's when I would focus on them. Last but not least, is Pine Bluff, and from what I can see, I think they brought in two guys, but I only see one right now, and he's a transfer from Tennessee Tech.
I think there's two, right?
Yeah, I think it was two.
Going on their Twitter page. And I hate this conference doing bad. Oh man, I hate the way they present these players, man. It's hard to find what they signed, and I'm like, come on, we got to do better with that, man.
Yeah, that
at least one place where we can see who everybody getting.
Yeah, like I said, I don't like, I don't like the way a lot of this stuff is done. 8. Oh, well, they need to put them out because I only seen like 2, but maybe those guys signing later, maybe they sign later in the day. But I think like you said, I think a lot can be left to be desired with the way that this whole situation is covered for most teams. I mean, there's 3 or 4 teams that are really good at this stuff. Everybody else is hit or miss. You just don't never know what you're gonna get from the other teams. But we need a more coherent and cohesive way of doing this stuff. Because, like you say, sometimes you don't even know, and I feel like as fans, you shouldn't have to do legwork to find this kind of stuff. This stuff should be made available to you, to some degree, because that's how you generate your fan support. That's how people want to know what they're bringing in. And, I think a lot of the problem, bro, is I think a lot of our schools still ain't comfortable with that early signing period.
Yep.
I think that they still look at February as the big time. And I think that's more because we used to getting the guys that didn't get picked up by FBS team. You know what I'm saying? And now December, especially on the Power 5 level, December is it. These teams signing 21, 22, 23 guys in December. They're not really signing a lot of guys in February. So, I think that we still trying to pick up the scraps, but I think that we need to start being more aggressive in December. I'm not saying you need to sign 20 guys in December, but I think you need to bring in a solid group of guys in December and use February for your last, hoorah, so to speak, grabbing them last minute portal guys and stuff like that. But, I think we still got some work to do as a whole with addressing recruiting in the early signing period. And like I said, I think a couple teams have done well, but everybody else, man, they still got some work to do. And with so many new coaches in the league, it really had, the time is now to kind of get that stuff going in the right direction. But all in all, not a bad day. I mean, it wasn't a fun day for me. Kept sitting there, my wife probably got tired of seeing me on Twitter all day. I've been on Twitter since I got home from work today.
Yeah, Twitter's been popping. I've been also been enjoying this vacation. So I've been up early, Eddie. So trying to see what we got under the tree.
It's almost like Christmas, bro. Like you say, being able to see what shiny new stuff you got, and being able to, kind of envision the way your team gonna be put together. So it's gonna be, it's gonna be one of the things where we can see, what happens. A lot of teams made some good moves, and we'll see what February brings. But we're gonna continue this tomorrow, man, because it's getting a little late. I'm like a gremlin. After 12 o'clock, gremlins they like get dangerous. After 10, bro, I start to get, I start to turn into something else. But yeah, I can't grade most teams on these classes because they very incomplete. But as far as presentation go, yeah, I'm not too happy with that. But it is what it is, and I kind of made my piece on Facebook about it, and I'm gonna deal with it. But man, we're gonna get on up out of here today. Man, I thank y'all for tuning in at this late hour with us. We'll be back tomorrow with our regular show at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, SWAC Smoke. And we're gonna talk TSU heavy. We're gonna talk Alcorn. We talk a little bit of Celebration Bowl, and whatever else. So y'all know how we get down on Thursday. So y'all lock back in with us tomorrow, and we're gonna catch y'all on the rebound.